What's going on there, YouTubers? All my fans over here at Zonk the Cat. I want to give a good shout out to my new subscribers. Nitro Nate 98, new subscriber a day ago. I want to give a shout out to Vapor Liger. Hope I got that right. New subscriber. New subscriber Shadow Wolves. New subscriber Cup of Joe and Magnetron Cyber. New subscriber Mark Fox. And I think that's it. That's all I got so far. YouTube, for some reason, I can't figure out where my subscriber list is. So if I forgot you, a big shout out to all my subscribers. Thank you for subscribing. And if you're new to my channel, please subscribe, hit the like button, share my videos. And I want to give a nice shout out to the people who watched my Destiny 2 Arms Dealer level 900 Fuck Bungee Strike. 1500, or what is it? I'm using my cheat sheet here. 1584 views. Fucking ecstatic. I love that shit. Alright, so let's get into the video. The video today is about garbage exotic weapons. We've all run into them. We all can't stand them. But if you're new to my channel and you haven't checked this out, look in your collections. Yes, I know there's a lot of shit I haven't really looked at. So you go into the exotic and you can repurpose these. Some of them you can get back, some of them you can't. I've got something I haven't looked at yet. No, it's down here. Okay, so that's armor. We're looking at weapons today. So, garbage guns. There's tons of them. There really is. This is one of them. The Ballast. It's a primary. Takes special weapon ammo. And it's a linear fusion rifle. Now, I personally use this thing because constantly, all the time, when you go down into the fucking tower, excuse me, and you go and talk to Banshee 44, he's always got a fucking mission that includes a linear fusion rifle. And it's the only reason I keep this in my list, is because it's in your primary and you don't have to use heavy weapon ammo. You can just pick up special weapon ammo everywhere you go. Now, if you want to know what it looks like this. It don't look bad. It don't look bad. Problem is, it doesn't, because it's not a heavy weapon, it doesn't shoot like a heavy weapon. So you can't just hit one person in the fucking head. Like minor enemies, smaller enemies, you hit them one time in the head, they're dead. You hit a bigger enemy like a knight or something like that, it just rocks them a little bit and then that's it. Then you got to shoot it again. But you only get 5 rounds in the fucking mag. The charging time is not that bad for it, but it kind of sounds like a punt gun. It kind of sounds like you're shooting a paintball cannon or some shit. It does nothing. I mean, it has no big blast, no laser coming out the end of it, nothing. It just sounds like you shot a paintball gun, for real. And the special thing on this is a compounding force. There is no compounding force on this. It says fire slugs that cause massive damage to elemental shields of enemy combatants. Horseshit. Go to the Dreaming City and get into one of those, where they all, on two sides meet each other out there on the shore. And get into one of those firefights and use this piece of shit. You will fire this thing and it will basically be like shooting a BB at a fucking bear. It's retarded. And then the bear will turn around and take that thing, shove it up your ass and blow the top of your fucking head off. So this thing is pretty much useless when you're coming in contact with hardcore enemies. Okay, so moving on. The Jade Rabbit. Junk. Absolute junk. Never use this thing. It's got a 10-round magazine in it. The impact is reload speed is It ain't the greatest fucking thing in the world. And let's look at it here. I mean, look at the grip on that thing. I mean, could you imagine that thing in real life? You stick your thumb through that fucking shithole little thing right there, and then you got all this that you got to wrap your hand around in order to get to the trigger. In real life, this fucking thing, I would throw that thing in the trash and rather pick up a fucking 2x4 with a freaking couple of nails in it. You do more damage with that than you would with this. Let's see, it's special thing here. Chain body shots to gain bonus damage on your next precision shot and return ammo to the magazine. That ain't exactly an exotic trait in a gun that I want. Sorry. In fact, I'm not sorry. It's bullshit. Why? You could have a better gun that would like chain fucking lightning to other to other enemies and shit like that, or chain void damage to other enemies, shit like that. This doesn't do anything for me. It's just garbage. I don't have too much experience on this. It's an auto rifle. 4-headed dog shoots from all 4 barrels. Okay, so yeah, I do have a little bit of experience with this thing. This thing has a 31 round magazine and shoots 360 rounds per minute, which for an exotic weapon sucks ass. I mean, it really does. It sucks ass. And then you shoot from all 4 barrels. To tell you the truth, it looks like it's been pinned together in Far Cry fucking New Dawn. If anybody's played Far Cry New Dawn, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. All the guns in the fucking game are put together with plumbing supplies. This kind of looks like it. It looks like they went into Home Depot, got all the fucking steel plumbing supplies, taped it together with fucking with duct tape and the steel bands you get to band fucking piping together under the hood of your car. You look like you just came out of fucking Radio Shack with all this wiring and dumb shit hanging around it. The stock is so goddamn small, it looks like a 10-year-old could use it. And the magazine's so fucking small, it looks like it belongs in a freaking revolver. And what is it like to shoot this gun? Okay, so when you shoot it out of all 4 barrels, guess what? You're aiming down your sights. It does not hit the target. And this is no bullshit. I've used this fucking gun. I use every single exotic weapon that I get. And this fucking gun, you shoot, and maybe 2 or 3 rounds hit the target. The rest of them are all over the fucking place. It's kind of like shooting full auto in real life. Once the barrel heats up, the fucking rounds go all over the place. You're lucky if you get fucking, maybe 1 or 2 rounds on the paper in a 30-round mag in real life. It's the same thing with this. It's just in a video game. Is that when you shoot the thing, the fucking rounds go all over the place. You're lucky to get maybe 1 or 2 rounds at the target. So that's the service. It's garbage. Complete fucking garbage. I mean, it looks good, but it's garbage. Complete shit. Sweet business. I picked up this when Destiny 2 first came out, when I was rolling through with my Titan on the very first mission. Don't get me wrong. I have been wanting a fucking minigun on this game for a long time. 150 round magazine, that just bothers me. It really does. 150 round mag. It should have been at least a 400 to 500 round magazine, kind of like the trace rifles, where you have like a fucking insane amount of fucking magazine space. The rounds per minute, 360 rounds, I think is complete bullshit. I don't like this gun for 2 reasons. I'll show you why. Number 1, when you start firing this gun, it starts off incredibly slow, like doot, 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 and it gets faster over time. A minigun does not start like that. Has never started like that. If anybody ever looks at a fucking minigun, they're called the M134 or the oh shit, the Dillon minigun, the A10 Warhog, the 22 millimeter Gatling cannon that it has in the tip of the nose on the A10. Those things, they start at a high RPM. Why is it that this is a minigun that starts off with an electric motor in it? You got to figure, electric motor gives all of its torque all at the same time, and it spins up really fast. Why is it that this thing starts off slow and goes and freaking ends, and you're at the bottom of your mag by the time this thing gets up to full speed? You're at the bottom 25 rounds of your mag when this thing gets up to full speed. Has shit for impact. You can spend on a minor enemy your entire magazine on just their shield and their life bar. So the impact and the damage that you're going to cause to the enemy is complete shit. This gun could have been so much better if they had increased the rounds per minute to say around 1,000 rounds per minute, or say even just 600 to 750 rounds per minute, like some of the assault rifles they have in the game, and then increase the magazine size to like 350 to 450 rounds. You would have a fucking field day with this thing. This thing would have been beautiful, and they had the chance to do it, but no, they turned it into a garbage piece of shit that can't mow down the simplest of fucking enemies with a shield. Let alone you run into a lieutenant or a fucking boss. You sit there with a boss with this thing, you're just going to be sitting there pelting at him with fucking BBs. And they're just going to turn around and shove it up your ass and blow the top of your fucking head off, just like I said in the last one. Alright, moving on. Okay, so Sturm, junk. Complete junk. Anybody who runs around with this thing has got an inferiority complex, or they want to act out Star Wars and they think they're Han Solo. I mean, come on now. This gun looks like, it's not exact, but it looks exactly like the blaster that Han Solo used in Star Wars. Call me a nerd if you want, but leave it out of the comment section. But that looks like the blaster from Han Solo. But look at the main thing. Each exotic has its own little pep that the legendary and the other guns don't have. Okay, so this one, kills with this weapon, fill the magazine of the equipped energy weapon from reserves. From your reserves. So it doesn't create it. If it created it, it would have been fucking bang on. But this gun is a piece of shit for a whole different fucking reason. It will not put down enemies fast. On this game, you need to hammer your enemy's shield, and if they have on shield and life bar, with lightning precision. This gun just does not have that. I've used this gun. Like I said, I use every single exotic that I get at least once. And this gun sucks ass. And there's bullshit that you got to go through to get this gun. It's kind of like the arms dealer strike. A little bit less, but it was kind of like that. This gun blows for the amount of bullshit you got to go through to get it. Okay, moving on. Alright, so you see there's a lot of shit in here that I didn't get. So I'm not going to talk about these or anything I have not tried personally. Like the Thorn. I have it for Destiny 1. I didn't get it for Destiny 2 because the goddamn mission didn't drop for me. Yet again, Bungie taking the 2x4 and sticking it straight up my ass. Okay, moving on. Monte Carlo. I love that fucking gun, so I'm not going to talk shit about it. Serious Regime. Shit. Absolute shit. Says it's fucking half mag bonus damage and regens health. Horse shit. When you're in the middle of a firefight, in the middle of a strike or a raid, having this gun would be like just saying, oh, I might as well call the morgue and make reservations. It's that bad. You get down to half of your mag. Think about it. It's got a 36 round mag. You go down half mag, that's 23 rounds, I think. No. What, 17 rounds? 17, 18 rounds? Yeah, 17, it's about 17, 18 rounds. And you're going to get bonus damage at that point. And you're going to regen health. Let me tell you something. In a fucking raid, that half of your mag with bonus damage and regenerating health ain't going to be worth a shit. Because anybody who's ever done a raid that watches my videos will know for a simple fact that that fucking thing is going to fuck you over. Okay, Crimson. Well, let me show you what it looks like here. It looks like a futuristic version of a dildo. Think about it. This one goes, in the main hole. This one goes in the secondary hole. I mean, look at the impact on this thing. It's nothing. It's shit. It's got good range, decent stability, great handling, and awesome reload speed. But it looks like a futuristic dildo. It really does. With squirt capability. Look at the pipe on that. God damn. So as they said, in one point, two in the pink, one in the stink. A futuristic dildo. Okay. So Crimson. It's got great impact. This weapon fires a 3-round burst. I've used this gun before. Yes, it does have the 3-round burst. If you're lucky enough to get 3 rounds on a headshot, you will take people out with this fucking thing. If you're not good with hand cannons, stay the fuck away. For real. You got a 24-round magazine. It shoots 15 rounds per minute. That's not too bad for a hand cannon, but if you're not good with hand cannons, you're not very accurate with them, don't bother. Stick to spray and pray. Moving on. Vigilant Swing. This shoots a 5-round burst. I've used this on occasion. It's got a 50-round magazine. Shoots 530 rounds per minute. Has decent impact, decent range, decent stability, decent handling, decent reload speed. Problem. The problem with it is that you have to get that all 5 rounds on target all the time. And with a pulse rifle, you have a brief pause between trigger pulls. And if, like in Destiny, they tend to either warp out of the way or they're moving out of the way. They're doing that stupid dance shit that makes you waste your ammunition. I just want them to, I don't mind if you got a moving target, but if they're doing that whole dance, moving, warping shit out of the fucking way, that drives me nuts and it wastes my ammo. With pulse rifles, you've got to get all the rounds on target for it to be effective. And that's why I don't like this thing. It's not a garbage gun. I just don't like it for that reason. I've never used pulse rifles. I don't like the fucking things unless I absolutely have to. Okay, so that's generally all these. A Huckleberry, it goes through rounds too fast. And it's really, really unpredictable when you're firing it. Okay, so let's move on to energy. Trace rifles, I love the fucking trace rifle. This thing reloads itself after every kill. The Prometheus lens. Anybody who has this gun, this fucking thing is awesome. And I use it all the time and it fries the shit out of it. If you use this on a strike or on a raid that's got solar damage, this fucking thing is amazing. Just run through the entire level with it. You won't need any other fucking gun until you get to the boss. And then maybe use your heavy weapon in your special. But this fucking thing just fries everything. You got the Hardlight gun. You can switch between Void and Lightning. And it is an auto rifle. But the problem is with this gun, your fucking rounds go all over the goddamn place. There's too much bounce on the fucking thing. It's not garbage, but it ain't that great. Gravitron Lance, it's another pulse rifle, but the backup of it is that when you shoot him in the head and you get a kill, and then your enemy will explode in a void explosion, attaching to other enemies that could do the same thing, and then it will start to chain react and go down the line, which is cool. But you got to be able to kill that one person that's standing next to another person. Coldheart is a good fucking trace rifle. Only problem is with this thing, unlike the Prometheus lens, you have to reload it. It doesn't reload by itself, but it will fry the shit out of anything. Shields, just like with the Prometheus lens, shields, anything like that, it just fucking destroys them all. Okay, moving on. Trinity Ghoul, I love this fucking, what is it, the combat bow? Yeah, I love this fucking thing. Has 3 fucking, is this the one I'm talking about, the 3 one? I think it is. Yep, has 3 shots. So as soon as you draw it and you aim it, if you don't aim it, it fires one bolt, 1 arrow. When you draw it and aim it, it turns into 3 arrows shooting at your target. It is a good thing. If you get a headshot with it, it automatically turns into an arc bolt, and then you fire that at your next target, and that one will explode. And if you kill the target, it will explode into a arc explosion and kill other enemies. It's fucking awesome. Love that damn thing, especially on the Crucible. It drives people nuts. Wave Splitter Trace Rifle. I've used this one. It's okay. It's not the greatest thing in the fucking world. The Prometheus lens is the greatest trace rifle by far, in my opinion, because it reloads itself after every kill. And then with going in with fucking solar damage on strikes and raids and shit, this thing will annihilate enemies. Just fucking annihilate them. The Wave Splitter will do the same thing, but you have to reload it, kind of like Coldheart. But I think it's kind of weak. It's lacking something. I'm not quite, power levels fluctuate over time. So, Symmetry is one of my favorites. Only problem is that when you hold down the reload button and you turn into you fire an arc bullet out of it, or stream, whatever the fuck you want to call it, and it basically follows the target. And it will hit the target, and you can fire it, and the person walks away, and it will just trace straight to that fucking target. That's great and everything. Problem is when it's in its regular mode, it's full auto, so you just hold down the trigger. You can do the same thing in the next mode, but it fires so fucking slowly, if a person walks behind a building, you're too late. So it's not a garbage weapon, but it has its uses, but not quite. Telescope fusion rifle, it's got a 4-round magazine. I'm sorry. No. 7-round magazine, yes. 4-round magazine, fuck off. Merciless, another fusion rifle, 8-round magazine, great and everything. Problem is with these fusion rifles, you have to be as close as you are with a shotgun. No. Hell no. Skyburner's Oath, another piece of shit. It doesn't put people down. It says it explodes, lobs explosive rounds that get stronger and faster when aiming down sights. No, it doesn't. You can't put down a fucking minimal enemy with this thing. It fires really, really, really slow. Like excruciatingly slow. This one pisses me off on a whole different fucking level. Grenades bounce, delayed detonation, and guess what? The grenades can bounce right off the enemy that you're shooting at, and then detonate somewhere else where you don't want it to be. 1 round. So in other words, you shoot, you reload, you shoot again, you reload, you shoot. It's a 1-round deal. 72 rounds per minute for a fucking grenade launcher. Kiss my crippled ass. God is listening. Sunshot, don't have any complaints. I love that fucking gun. Risk Runner, it's a good submachine gun. Shoots 900 rounds per minute, 41 round magazine. The magazine size is a little weak in my opinion. It should be a lot bigger than that. A lot bigger. I'd say 65 round mag at least, because this fucking thing fires off a lot of shit. And you can fuck a motherfucker up with this thing. Okay, Borealis. It's a sniper rifle. I don't really use sniper rifles too much, so I can't really attest, but it's got a 72 rounds per minute. I'm not totally into this gun at all. This thing has the same problem that the Hardlight does. You can use different weapon damage and so on and so forth if you're holding down square. So it'll change to arc or solar, yada yada yada. But 72 rounds per minute? No. Hell no. Hell no. I have personally, I have an AR-10 at my home. And let me tell you something, I can get a hell of a lot more rounds off in my .308 caliber fucking hunting rifle with a 24-inch barrel. I can get a hell of a lot more rounds off per minute than 72. And that's using 10-round magazines. Moving on. Lord of Rules. I love this shotgun. I love it. I want to marry it. I want it to have my children. This fucking thing is awesome. Take this thing into a strike. Have as many rounds as you possibly can jam into your pockets. It has a 30-round magazine. It will shoot 5 rounds per pull of the trigger. If you push and hold down the reload button, it will reload with a full magazine in it, and push the trigger again, it will fire off 10 rounds out of the magazine at the enemy. Solar damage at the enemy. I love this thing. This thing is bad fucking ass, and I love it. Get this thing, you will never have to worry about lieutenants and fucking douchebag dumbasses ever again. Never again. I come up against fucking knights. I come up against even some bosses I take out with this fucking thing. I love this fucking gun. No complaints. Bungie did a great job on this. And if they did a great job on all the other fucking exotic weapons that they did with this, I'd have no complaints ever. And I would have no YouTube channel, so fuck it. Moving on. Ariana's Vow. I figure what the hell this is. Oh, the hand cannon. I hate this fucking hand cannon. This thing is a piece of shit. Yes, you can shoot long range with it. Yes, you can have decent impact with it, but I guarantee you this, it will not put a motherfucker down. Impact, yes. Damage, no. It's like a fucking, it's almost like a very weak hand cannon sniper rifle. So, this weapon fires special shield-piercing ammunition. It comes with a scope strong against barrier champions. That was good for the Vex offensives, but guess what? Now, no. It says it will fire through shields. Horse shit. It won't fire through a lot of shields in the regular game. Of course, then again, I only use it once, but still, 6 rounds in the magazine, blow me. 90 rounds per minute. Seriously blow me, and look at the reload speed on that. It looks like you're going to be doing that shit in slow motion. Moving on. Let's go to the power weapons down here. And you're going to run into my absolute hated fucking weapon of all time. And no, it's not the tractor cannon. The tractor cannon shotgun is bullshit. It used to be one of my hated weapons. I couldn't stand this fucking thing, because every time you use it, it does bugger all, and you just get shot straight in the face by your opponent. Even if you're on the fucking Crucible, Even on regular games, this thing, it sucks balls. This gun ain't too bad. It's a